I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. On today's show, we're going to get into some winners and losers on the Bears roster after the NFL draft. So with some new players in the fold, which players benefit from the draft picks, which players not so much. We'll get into three winners and losers here in just a moment. But this is the Bears 2024 draft class. Of course, the headliners of Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze in round one. Karan Amagaji, the offensive tackle out of Yale, in the third round. Iowa punter Torrey Taylor in round four. And then Kansas edge Austin Booker in round five. So how do these selections impact certain guys? Let's dive on in. My first draft winner, I guess post-draft winner here, is Braxton Jones. Now, yes, they did draft Amagaji in round three, but I still think Jones comes out as a winner because he is clearly in line to start for a third straight season at left tackle. There were, of course, pre-draft scenarios we discussed. What if they get Joe Wall or Olufushanu? That did not happen. So Braxton Jones in a good position to get a third year of starting opportunity here at that left tackle spot. Last year, I thought he took a step forward. He was pretty solid. Now, against bull rushers, he tends to struggle. That anchor isn't the best, but I thought he improved from year one to year two. Did have that neck issue where he missed a few games, but seemed to come back and play pretty well after that as well. I like where he's at as a player. This is a good opportunity for him to take a big step forward in year three, and if he does, he could be your long-term answer at left tackle. He'll certainly get that opportunity. So again, to kind of rehash, yes, Amagaji's in the fold right now, but Ryan Poles himself said after the second night of the draft when asked, is he going to push for a starting role? He said, possibly, but probably not. Like, realistically, this is going to be your swing tackle, a guy who's going to come in there, compete, but really needs to learn, get in an NFL locker room, and it's a big jump in competition from Yale to the NFL. So Braxton Jones, I think, comes out as a winner unless he really struggles in training camp and a guy like Amagaji gets a chance at that point in time. All right, do you think the Bears will be a playoff team this next season? Type Y for yes, or you can type in for no. Recent betting odds gives them a 56% chance to make the playoffs, which is very, very exciting. Y for yes or N for no. Give me your thoughts. Okay, Demarcus Walker, our next winner here, based on how things played out in the NFL draft. I think like Braxton Jones, it was one of those, he's a fine starter, but if there's a possibility of upgrading, that would certainly be considered. I think as of now, he's your clear number two edge, right, on this depth chart. You're hoping Austin Booker is a guy who can come in and give you some help as a fifth-round pick, but realistically, he's probably not a week one starter. Demarcus Walker, if there was a game tomorrow, would almost certainly start opposite of Montez Sweat. Now, I still think an ideal role for Walker is that as that like number 5 defensive lineman because he can play edge, he can play 3-tech, but I think as of now, he would start at edge and then maybe on passing downs, kick inside. And they did some good things last year as an energy guy. 3.5 sacks, 16 quarterback hits. You hope the sacks go up a little bit this year, but we know he's going to bring the rah-rah. He's going to bring the juice. Hopefully the production goes up a little bit. And we'll see if the Bears add another pass rusher to this team, but for now, Walker is in pretty good standing. Now, a couple of you guys during the draft commented, hey, I've been here since 3,000 subs, 20,000, etc. So kind of just curious and chime in the comments. How many subs, roughly, if you can remember, did we have on the channel when you first subscribed? Or are you an OG from, pre-5,000 subs? Did you subscribe yesterday? That would be 92,000 subs. I want to know from you guys. Let me know in the comments. And, of course, if you haven't subbed already, please do so. Turn on the notifications for free content, and that way you know exactly when we publish a new episode. All right, number 3 here is Gervon Dexter. All three of these guys could have been, I don't want to use the word replace, but it was possible that the Bears could have used their second first-round pick to add at those positions to at least create bigger competition. That did not happen. It's pretty clear in Dexter's case, he is going to be the starting 3-tech. I mean, like in Demarcus Walker's case, there are a few free agent edges that could theoretically start over him. Gervon Dexter, there's really no one on the market unless the Bears make a trade. It's pretty clear to me that he is going to start at that 3-tech spot. He certainly flashed at times last year as a rookie. His highs are very high, but there are some lows. He still doesn't always fire off the ball right at the snap. He doesn't always play with the best pad level. I think Eric Washington, the new defensive coordinator who has a heavy background in defensive line work, should be able to help Dexter be a more consistent player because he's got the physical tools to be very, very good. A lot of expectations for him to deliver because if not, that position is probably not going to be one of the top ones on the team, but he's got an opportunity to prove that it can be. Do you believe in Gervon Dexter? Type B for believe, or you can type D for don't. I believe in his talent. I believe he's a good player. Am I ready to sit here and say I think he's going to be a high-level starter? I think he's got to show us that for now, so let me know what you guys think. Something I'm a big believer in is Prize Picks because A, it's fun, and B, you can make money. What's better in life than fun and money? Not much. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. It is the best and most used daily fantasy sports app in North America. 3 million active users on the app on a daily basis. You should be one of them. It's simple. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they will go for more or less than their Prize Picks stat projections. For example, we got season-long NFL stats here. DeAndre Swift, I'm going to take more than 850.5 rushing yards. I like the fit in this offense. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, unfortunately, I do think he's going to have at least 8 receiving touchdowns. You can get in on NBA playoff action. You can check out NHL picks, also MLB, and you can cross over too. You can have a baseball player, a hockey player, and an EPL soccer player, and just take more or less. It doesn't have to be within the same sport. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. That way, you got a little extra breathing room to kind of feel things out and figure out what type of plays that you like. That link and promo code is in the description and comments of this video. Download the Prize Picks app today. All right, let's get to some Bears draft losers now. Trenton Gill, unfortunately for him, he is hitting the road, so he has to fall into this category. Bears made that official today. Didn't waste much time. Bears Communications with the tweet of the transaction. And look, let's not put our shocked faces on here. We knew this was coming the second they drafted a punter, Tory Taylor, in the 4th round. I think Trenton Gill knew this was coming. And hey, good on the Bears to make this done quickly, give Gill an opportunity to catch on with another team and compete for a roster spot. He quite frankly just wasn't good last year. I thought as a rookie he was decent to solid, not an upper tier punter, but not bad for a late round rookie that year. But then last year I thought he regressed, really struggled pinning people back. And Ryan Poles talked about today on the Pat McAfee show, hey, Tory Taylor can be a weapon and he can make offenses uncomfortable starting drives by pinning them back inside their own 10. So big move here to draft a punter in the 4th, which obviously meant that Trenton Gill was not going to be here. Okay, Larry Borom here. I think Larry Borom is in trouble. I think you look at what the Bears did, not only in the draft, but really in this offseason. I mean, where does Larry Borom fit on this offensive line depth chart right now? You drafted Kron Amageji. You signed Matt Pryor. I thought Aviante Collins was decent last year. He's back in the fold. Like, is Borom offensive lineman 9 or 10? You got your 5 starters, whether it's Shelton or Bates. The other one's going to be on this team. Amagaji's going to be on this team. That's 7. I think Tyree Carter's on this team. That's 8. I think Matt Pryor is likely on this team. 9. Borom's 9 or 10. And by the way, cutting Larry Borom saves you $3.1 million in cap money for a guy that isn't even your swing tackle anymore. I think he's gone unless you convince him to take some sort of pay cut. And even then, like, what's the point, right? You're going to save $1 million by doing that. Just save the 3.1, cut him. He could have a chance to catch on with another team. I just think that's going to be the right move for both parties. He did some okay things here, fill it in over the last 3 years, but never developed into a potential starter, and that's not going to happen for this franchise, at least moving forward. So I do not expect Larry Borom to make this team. What would you do with Larry Borom? Type C for cut or K for keep. I think keeping him through training camp has value because, hey, guys go down. Maybe a team throws you a 7th-round pick for Larry Borom if they lose some depth on their offensive line. He can play tackle and guards. That gives him some value, but I think they will cut or trade him before roster cutdown day to save that $3.1 million, gives him some more flexibility throughout the season. And then Tyler Scott. Now, unlike Trenton Gill, who's obviously not on the team anymore, and Larry Borom, who I don't believe will be on the team, Tyler Scott will be on this roster, barring a disaster. They drafted him last year in the 4th round, and while he was inconsistent and had rookie moments, he certainly flashed enough that you're not going to cut him after 1 year. But the reason he's in the loser category is, at best, he's going to be your 4th wide receiver. You have DJ Moore. You traded for Keenan Allen. You drafted a Rome Odunze. The minute they drafted Odunze, if you're Tyler Scott and you're realistic with yourself, you know that you got no chance to start on this football team, barring an injury. Now, and plus, I'll add this as well. When you look at the tight ends, Shane Waldron likes using multiple tight ends, Cole Kmet, Gerald Everett. So how often are they going to run sets where Tyler Scott's on the field? Now, he'll rotate in. He'll run some deep ball concepts, and they might use some jet sweep action with him here and there. But in terms of the short term, 2024, there's not going to be a ton of opportunities to see him for him to see the field. Now, I do think it's twofold with Scott. If you want to take the half-glass full approach, which I hope he does, hey, there's a lot of guys to learn from, right? Continue to learn from DJ. Keenan Allen's a lot you can take some wisdom in from. And, hey, you can, take it personally that they drafted a receiver in the first round. But for this year, not going to play much realistically. He'll be on the team. He'll probably have a role on special teams, but the role on offense will be pretty limited if I had to guess. Okay, so there you have it, some post-draft winners and losers. Braxton Jones, Demarcus Walker, Gervon Dexter, all in the winners category. In the losers category, you got Trenton Gill, Larry Borom, and Tyler Scott. We'll see how it all plays out as we get into more of the offseason program and so on and so forth. My name is Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. We'll be back tomorrow, or later on today, actually, Thursday. Bears Live, 4 p.m. Central Time, so be sure to join us for that. Until then, bear down.